There you are. Back on Arizona Business Spotlight, I'm Helen Gibson, your host. You're watching Verde Valley TV. Be sure to go to I can talk. Verde Valley TV YouTube. I'm getting ahead of myself so that you can watch a replay of this interview. It's important information on two folds. One is about starting a business, how you manage a business, and how you grow a business, which we all need to learn and know how to do if we're going to be in the business world. And also, we're talking about Alzheimer's. And Circle of Life Alzheimer's Home is a place of dignity and customized end-of-life living. And there's a silver tsunami coming to the world, especially the United States, and we need to learn how to manage those expectations and possibly maybe even open your own home if you're passionate about this particular profession. So joining me in studio is Susan Wilichowski. I like Chow.
Wilichowski.
We were talking with our hands, so Wilichowski. You know, we were talking about the origins of our last names, and they come from Eastern Europe, and how they're it's in their culture to take care of their elders.
Yes.
And so it's really something that the Western, I believe, culture seems to pull away from. You see it more in
we do. We pull away from it more. Asian, they just seem
Native
to
American
they
cultures,
all live in the same home, and they all take care of each other, and they do that. But here in the West, we don't have to do that. We have more opportunities than they have over in the other countries also. But yes, we are the ones who, it sounds terrible. We work and we have lives, and we don't all live together. Now, my grandmother and my mother lived with me. I took care of my mother for many years before she passed. So, but I was fortunate enough and able to do that. We've always been entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So I was able to do that. So
you've created a phenomenal model about how this should look.
yes.
And I like the fact that you say the residents are just 5 to 6, 4 to 5. Do you have space available right now in your homes?
We always will make space for somebody. Yes, we do have a place, or I should say a room open in Sedona, and we have one open in Prescott.
And this is just, you know, you think of it, really what I've heard that people with dementia and Alzheimer's, what they need is, like you said, their own routine,
Yes.
a customized approach,
Yes.
and peace, because they're in their world. And like you said, too many times when your family member's struggling with this, you still try to pull them in, integrate them in.
And that's normal. You want them to be you. You want them to be who they were. You want them to be, high functioning, and it just doesn't. This disease does not allow that. So you have to go to them. They can't come to you. So in order to get anything done, or to have them have a successful day, we need to be with them.
Right.
Just if it's sitting there holding their hand all day. And not asking, do you remember me? Do you remember this? That's the worst of all worst. That's the evils. And I have to say, when I first came here a year and a half ago, I was told that I wouldn't succeed here, that I wouldn't.
And look at all the homes you have
And
now.
now I have 3 homes. So you've got to be your own advocate. You have to say, this is something that's important, then this will work.
Right. And I think it's that courageous conversation and transparency that drew me to conversations with you in this, because I think that we did a lot of things incorrectly with my father. That I look back and I know we meant well and we were hurting for him, excuse me, but we should have turned to professionals like you from the beginning, and it would have alleviated a lot of stress. And one of the reasons we did not put my father in a home is because you make this promise that they can stay in their home and their environment, but really what they're looking for is just that routine, that quiet, that peace. They may eventually not even know who's in the house or whatever, but there's an atmosphere that you create.
And it's a calming, peaceful atmosphere. Yes. And again, once they've moved in, and after the first week, it's sometimes it can be hard, but now they're living with their other friends who they think they've been in the military with, they've gone to school with, they know these people, these are their friends. And the family can now just come and just visit and not have that angst and the pain of.
Yes.
And you didn't do anything wrong. You did the best you could
Thank
do
you. You're such an
at
encourager.
that time. So nothing
you,
is
Susan.
incorrect. You're doing the best that you can do at that time. So
I appreciate that. You know, we did, and our hearts were in the right place.
Exactly.
But I believe people need to become educated, and that's why we have shows like this. And it's Arizona Business Spotlight. So I'm hoping that you're watching right now, that you're blending business with passion and what is coming right now, and what what people have experienced. They could actually become a Circle of Life Alzheimer's homes owner.
Oh yes, yes. Anybody can have a home, and we can get you up and running and have 3, 4, 2, 1 person even. It's making a difference. It doesn't matter how many people or how far you push or how big you want to go. It's just your one life, and one happy life is all you need.
You're making a difference. And
Yes.
if I had a hero award, I would give it to you right now.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
No, I do.
I've done a lot of things wrong too, but you learn as you go. So that's why I say nothing's wrong. You learn the proper, or even if it is the proper way of doing it. But you have to understand that you're going to lose it, and you're going to get upset, and it's only normal. Don't get mad at yourself. It's normal.
Right,
You get mad at your children.
We're in a learning process.
Yeah.
So this whole passion for this particular business, did it come from something that you saw wasn't being done correctly, so that's what I thought.
It was in my own family. My aunt, she was having problems, and she was at home. And again, you want to leave them home, but sometimes you leave them home. I don't want to say them. You leave your loved one home longer than what you can handle. So they fall. Then the choice is made for you. So now you have to go into the hospital. Now you have to go into rehab. And then once you get into rehab, you're going into assisted living. So sometimes you can't make the choices. Even though you want to keep your loved one at home, it doesn't work. They're in their own home. They still have full reign. Things aren't changing because the families don't know what to change. They're not going to their level. They're still saying, come to mine. Right. So my aunt ended up falling, broke her hip, was in the rehab, had dementia. The daughter decided to leave her there. My uncle would have been crushed because he worked very hard, and to be left at home or to be taken care of. So my husband at this point, we were sitting at home, and he's going, just think of your next adventure, because we had gotten rid of a venture before that. And we're in a condominium unit in New Jersey on the beach. And I just sat there, and God spoke to me, and I rented the condominium upstairs of ours and started this.
Wow.
It was all within a 2-month period. I made my own flyers, I made my own brochures, I did everything, and we kind of coerced my niece into this with the whole family around, and she brought her mother to me, and within 2.5 months I had a whole house. I had 4 people, and it just kept expanding and expanding and expanding. Everybody wants to leave them at home. The cost is tremendous. I get that. Again, but it's not always the best thing. You have 24-hour caregivers that come, but you're getting different caregivers. Yes, and they're trained and they're coming, but you still have to do a lot. And they're wonderful caregivers. You want to keep them home as long as you can, but sometimes you just can't do it.
But in your home, Circle of Life Alzheimer's homes, when I say trained professionals, that's what they're doing 24/7.
I do. I have 24-hour caregivers there. Yes.
And they know how to manage what's coming up.
Yes.
And so
they know the trigger points.
Yes. And they know how to make that experience peaceful.
Yes. As peaceful as we can, but again, they make mistakes too. There's just certain times. Sundowning is a horrible time. From 3 to 5 is just a horrible time. So we're triggering and keeping people moving and the whole 9 yards. It's not all happy and bed of roses, but it's less stressful.
So you understand what's available out there for resources,
yes,
for trained personnel, for funding, which is, you know, insurance and other things
Yes.
like that. So if somebody is thinking, I want to, this is a passion of mine, and they can call you, and then you help them set up the home and then the whole facility, and then they
Correct.
begin running their business.
Then they run their own business, yes. And I am now partnering up with Home Care Assistance, which is great. They have a program for cognitive activity, so they'll come in, they're going to come in 3 days a week, 4 hours a day, and they'll spend an hour or 2 hours with each one of our clients, and they will have one-on-one with them on top of our one-on-one. So they're getting more stimulation, they're getting to talk about their old times if they can still do it, and we have a geriatrician who works at the Home Care Assistance. So we're getting it all. We're forming everything together, and hopefully we'll be unstoppable with everybody.
I believe you will,
So-
with this, to meet the Silver Tsunami's needs, which is coming.
There's still tons more homes that need to be here in Sedona and Verde Valley that deal with Alzheimer's. A lot of these homes don't deal with Alzheimer's.
That's another point.
Or they'll say they deal with Alzheimer's, and once they get to the point of wandering and roaming or things, they can't take them anymore. So that's usually what we take. So a lot of homes don't want them.
Susan Wilichowski, director, founder,
Thank you.
Circle of Life
Yay!
Alzheimer's Homes. I feel like I honored my father, Bill Gibson, some way. And if we have triggered any little desire in you to build your own business, you're going to want to call Susan, and
Yes.
she will help you. If you have a family member that needs care in a facility, call Susan. I can tell you I've spent hours talking with her, and I wish we had had this facility for my father. So there's your number, 609-425-6055.
Correct.
Susan, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being on Arizona
Oh,
Business
thank you.
Spotlight.
Thank
It's
you
my
so
pleasure,
much.
my pleasure. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Back on Arizona Business Spotlight, wrapping it up. Remember, follow your sizzle. That will lead to your passion. And before you know it, you're unstoppable. You can and you will. Dream big. We'll see you next time here on Arizona Business Spotlight.